Hey everyone, Walsh here from Thin Line Defense. Welcome back to our week 2 of our Zero to YouTube Hero pistol series, where in the first week we focused on presentation and I did like 1,400 of those. So I'm glad to be moving on to week 2. Here we're going to be focusing on the front sight post, and we're going to be watching a few videos on the advantages of having one eye open and both eye open and kind of determine how we want to train. And then we're going to watch some videos from John Lovell on appropriate trigger reset, like if we want to pull the trigger and hear that click every time it comes off, which sounds like it's not appropriate. And then we're going to watch a video from T-Rex Arms where he teaches us how to obtain the front sight post quickly, and we're going to do a couple drills for that. So let's go right into those training videos right now. For our training this week, we're going to review our 3 videos, and then we're going to actually start shooting because thankfully we're not just doing presentation this week. So we're going to go and watch those videos, and then we're going to go right into the training. For the training sessions this week, we're going to be doing some airsoft pistol shooting outside, and then we're also going to be doing some training with our pistol and a laser cartridge and a program called Laser Hit. And I'll show you how that program works also, and then we're going to go into those training sessions. The Laser Hit will allow us to see if we're improving on our speed as we shoot faster. Like I said before though, we're not really focusing on speed, we're more so focusing on the fundamentals and seeing if a rudimentary focus on fundamentals through YouTube videos translates into actual skill at the range. The training sessions for this week will be 100 of the airsoft going single shot target, and then there'll be 50 laser hit target training, and then we're still going to do 50 more presentation, and that's going to be every single day. So it's going to be 100 airsoft shots, 50 of the laser hit shots with our pistol, and another 50 just presentation because we need to keep building that skill set. So let's begin this week. Okay, so from watching our training videos, we can see that there's a couple different options. We can focus on closing one eye and then focusing on the sight post, but that causes our target to be blurry. If you're going to focus on the front sight post, you're going to have a blurry target. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not super excited about shooting at a bunch of blurs. So the way I'm going to train is the same way I trained in archery, which is shooting with both eyes open. I will say, going into a tournament or going against competition against somebody in archery and they shot with one eye open, it was usually just waiting for my time. If they were going to shoot from a time light into darkness, I knew I had them hands down every time. So I'm going to train with both eyes open. I'm going to be focusing, as the training said, on the target and then blurring those sight posts, but still trying to align them properly. In the T-Rex Arms video also, he said we want to come forward for the training, we want to come straight out from presentation and then fire those 2 shots. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And also in the John Lovell video, we're also going to focus on the trigger reset. Well, what we're not going to do is we're not going to keep our finger pegged to the rear. We're going to go ahead and as soon as that shot fires, we're going to let it go and then release again. So let's get to it. Safety's on. It seems a lot like just doing presentations. So this is already a little bit easy. I'm here on day 1, so maybe we could do 2 on one targets and 2 on the other. Try and do it quick as we can. Hey everyone, the weather's a little crap for day 2, so we're going to go ahead and move forward and do a little more work with the laser hit target. So this is that actual laser cartridge. You can get these on Amazon. I think I paid like $10. I got the off-brand version. But you can still use their regular app, so it doesn't make a difference. The way it works is when the striker fires, it just makes a little laser show up just for a moment. So it works good, and just kind of see when you're at it. It's good for training, but that's about it. So we also have to set up the actual app. So let's go into how we set up the app to be able to use this and then go into our training session. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is actually load the laser hit target application here. And once we have that loaded, we can kind of get into the actual app and I can show you setting it up. There's a bunch of, it's very loud, a bunch of random buttons you got to press. So we're going to use the quick hits. This allows us to actually set the timer so we can draw and see how long it takes for us to draw the weapon and fire and kind of see where we hit. The funny thing is the laser, as I said, is kind of a piece of trash, so don't worry too much about where you hit. It's really more about the practice and the time. It's definitely not straight. Okay, so we're going to be using the B27 target that we downloaded. We don't need any of this because we already downloaded the target. So I downloaded the target and I printed it out. It printed out very poorly, but it'll still work. So let's go ahead and zoom this in just a bit, just to kind of get it in frame. And we're going to set up our reload mark so we can just shoot at the reload mark whenever we want to do the next round. Next, we'll confirm our target. It's particularly poor at this. You'll see kind of here when it shows the actual target. Oh, oh. Perfectly off center. Perfect. Range is hot. Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, no, I'm not ready. Not ready. Oh, no, I'm not ready. So next thing, we loaded our laser cartridge into our gun, and let's go ahead and begin. So we're going to be shooting the reload target so we can start, and then we'll be able to reset. I'm just waiting for the beep. That was the best. So I'll already tell you, having these super fancy fiber optic sights makes it a bit difficult to see in low light. I'm sure I could just blast the target with the light, but I don't know if that would help at all. So it's definitely an advantage with the muscle memory, where I'm not even really thinking about it. I'm just doing the same thing we've been doing with the 1400 presentations and just putting on target and pulling the trigger. That was a bad one though. But you can kind of see where you are doing good and doing poorly. I could shoot that reset target every time. What's weird is every once in a while the light of the laser itself will actually cause it to lose configuration with the lighting, which is weird. I'm pretty excited to try this. Well, I'm doing poorly for the first day. I am pretty excited to try this with the actual red dot. Alright, so here we are on day, well, I've lost track, doing some more laser hit training. Or not, because the laser's not working. It gets me every time. Come on. Good job. Welcome back. I don't know about the rest of you, but this is getting a little boring. I'm never ready. No, I'm not ready. Alright, so let's actually see what we've done this week and see if any of this has paid off at all. Oh, I hate that. So a lot of times it doesn't actually read the laser. So you'll take a shot, and it's good training though, because if you're not shooting it right, the laser's going to streak across and not read correctly. Alright, so here we are at the end of week 2, and I can once again say I'm glad that's over with. So let's kind of talk about what we learned this week. Number one negative, I don't know if airsoft really translates to anything. I feel like I'm getting the skills, but it's just, I just don't feel like it's translating properly. We'll see obviously when we get to the range, but I'm just not feeling it. I will say though, the laser hit target training, while incredibly frustrating that the app constantly resets and constantly has issues with lighting, it really does give you a good feedback tool as to how quickly you are presenting and really what it takes to have a quick presentation. The laser reticle itself is wildly inaccurate within the cartridge, so you really got to take that with a grain of salt. But seeing this speed wise, you get a good idea of what it takes to have a draw under 1 second, or what it takes to present and fire under 1 second. That's really kind of ridiculous when you try to do it. Some of you out there in internet land may say that you do it all the time. I was surprised how quickly you had to go. What else did we learn? I learned that if you're not complaining about how many times you've had to reset up your belt, you probably don't own one. If you've never bent over in a single piece belt, you probably don't know how horrible they are. So I had to find some solutions to fix the Orion. Thankfully, I found some really cool ways to fix it, make it so it's super comfortable and you can actually move around in it. I should do a review on belts, but if you walk around in a single piece belt setup, you're fine. If you do anything else, you're going to spend all day readjusting it, and is one of the most annoying things on the planet. So the final thing for week 2 is, I don't think any of the single pieces that we're doing, from the laser hit training to the airsoft to the, making sure we're doing the trigger reset, are all the single sole solution. I think they're causing a synergistic effect where I'm going through all these different realms and learning all these different things, and that's what's improving my ability. But if I were to be doing any one of these, any singular one of them, I think the improvement would be marginal at best. So going on to next week, I'm actually going to be putting the red dot back on the gun, and we're going to be training with the red dot, but we have some really horrible training for next week. We're going to be doing white wall training, which basically is putting the gun against a wall and you just practicing trigger pulls, and there's another one where you just do presentation and hold the gun out. It's fantastic training, but my god is it boring, so you're in for a treat of a video. But I'm going to be doing it all with the red dot, so we're going to be incorporating that in there too. So you kind of see my experience going from iron sights to red dot. Also, I will add, it was extremely frustrating to use fiber optics indoors. I rarely could see them. Outside, they're amazing. In the sunlight, they're wonderful. Indoors, trying to use laser hit, I probably could have had no sights and it would have been just as useful. So I hope you enjoyed this week. I hope it was a little more entertaining. Next week will be exciting too, and you can see my trials and tribulations with using a red dot. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot.